Okay.
Okay. We're here.
I'm
This
so
is happening.
self-conscious now that we're doing
I
it.
know.
Okay.
Neither do I,
It's just my
literally.
headphones.
We gotta start somewhere. It's okay.
That's true.
Once this
Okay.
becomes like a big thing, we could be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we started off in quarantine with like our earbuds.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We can't let
Okay,
this
go
die.
for it.
Okay.
Yes.
Starting in quarantine without an end in sight, we're bringing to you advice and good conversation from one teenager to another. This is Sonica and Chelsea with Armbridge, a podcast we hope to be informative and reflective of the everyday world around us. Thank you for joining us today. Yesterday, we took your questions and inquiries for our first warm-up episode. So the first question that we have today is from anonymous user number 1. And we have higher self-confidence.
Higher
So this is actually
self-confidence.
something we talked about like the other day,
Yeah.
like especially with music and
Mm.
with our 2-hour like
Creating
discussion
things.
on the
Yeah.
power of Megan Thee Stallion. That was great.
Yes. You can go
It
first. Go
just
ahead.
helps to have like, I guess, someone to look up to, because I didn't really realize this until I started listening to more female artists,
Mhm.
because I guess when I started with like K-pop, I was only interested in boy groups because a lot of the girl groups started to sound the same. But I think like what we were talking about before, I had this sort of issue with like, I guess, accepting that femininity is also okay and it's like a
Right.
good thing to embrace, and that like as a woman we should be able to support everyone.
Hmm.
And I think that helped boost my self-confidence, having like a role model or someone like to look
For
up to.
sure.
Like it seems kind of weird at my age, like saying that I have a role model,
I feel
but
like yeah, anyone has a role model. I'm sure like old people have role models too. It's always nice to have someone to, be like,
yeah.
I respect this person. I guess personally for me, because self-confidence is like a very, 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 very broad thing. It like, is it about like physical like, appearance, your personality, like what you make, what you do? Like, there's so many things you could be like not confident about.
Yeah.
So I think honestly, it's just like breaking things down one by one. Personally, like the way I did it was the first and most obvious thing is like looks, right?
Hmm.
And so I think middle school was kind of my time to focus on that. And I was like figuring out, like in terms of physical appearance, what I thought suited me or like, stuff like that. And then high school, we went more to like personality and like how I present myself and stuff like that. And I think, as you said, role models definitely help with that. But I think it's just like experimenting with like
Yeah.
different aspects of yourself and seeing what works and
Yeah.
what you're comfortable with. And, once you have that magic formula,
Yeah.
then you're good. Yeah.
I guess. But I think like, I guess one of the things I regret about high school is like, I kind of, at least in middle school, I started having this complex of like comparing myself to other people,
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
it really interfered with the things that I like to do. Like when I was
Hmm.
swimming, I wasn't like particularly fast. I peaked like not I peaked really late, and
Hmm.
throughout the whole time, like I wondered why I wasn't getting better, and why like despite trying really hard, I never got any faster. Like I don't know, I never progressed from that, and I think that really damaged my self-confidence. And a lot of the time,
Hmm.
I started blaming other things like why don't I have this sort of athletic body type, or why don't I eat these foods that other people are eating that help them gain muscle or
Yeah,
whatever. It was just a lot of really stupid stuff, and that mentality sort of
yeah.
continued
And I think
throughout high
that's
school.
the fine line between like having a role model and then like outright trying to
Hmm.
copy someone. Like a role model should be someone you like respect, you look up to, right? And they should give you like ideas, but you shouldn't be like on the die. I'm exactly like them. Like um that's kind of going off on a tangent, but um yeah, like I definitely had that problem too, where I would like compare myself to everyone and it would just interfere with like me being able to be myself, right? But everyone's different. I think that's what I was trying to get at. Like, what's best for you. You can take ideas from other people, but like it shouldn't be, like the be all end all what someone does.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because especially like freshman, sophomore year, that's sort of the year where you like think about what I guess other people are doing. Like a lot of the classes I took
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the things I did, it
Were
was like
because
because
other
everyone
people.
else was sort of doing
Yeah.
it. And I'm really glad that I sort of transitioned activities. Like I started doing debate and I started doing things that I wanted to do.
You genuinely
And I,
wanted to do the same here.
because it's like, I just regret not finding that out sooner. Like it's
But I
something that
think
like,
that's
as
also just the
back,
way high school works. I know we're like super harsh on ourselves, like I don't know why I didn't do this sooner or whatever. But like
that's
the
true,
whole
that's true.
point of your freshman and sophomore year are pretty much like establishing your identity, and then you're like living it out junior and senior year, I guess. At least that's the way I've seen it work out for most people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because self-confidence is like, I don't know, you can't ever
Fully be confident in
fully
yourself.
be confident because you're always
Yeah.
going to have, like, the biggest person to make happy in your life is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't first make yourself happy with what you're doing, you can't really move on.
Yeah.
But I guess like appreciating the small things you do every day really helps. Because at least me, like being here by myself, I
Right.
don't have to worry about academic pressures or whatever. But if I completed like an AP review or if I finished my like weekly spread, I'm like, wow, I did something today. And
Mm-hmm.
that really
Yeah.
helps me feel accomplished.
For like what
Because
I
I think,
want to do, for things I'm
yeah,
interested in. Yeah.
because I think I was telling you before, like, um, when like people started getting college acceptances and I was getting like some rejection letters.
Oh yeah.
I was like getting upset, but then like I
Mm-hmm.
started looking back on it and I was like, well, I got into the school I wanted to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Like these people got into the schools they wanted to get into.
So why
Like
am I upset
why,
over their
why am I
success?
even mad?
Right.
So like just appreciating my one or two or three or very few
Exactly.
acceptances is like, oh wow, I did that.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't
exactly.
matter how far you're accomplished, but if you would celebrate the things you do every day, that's
Mm-hmm.
great.
I agree.
From our second user, she's asking, um, she's deciding between attending a more affordable college versus one with more opportunities and experiences.
Oh
So that's
man.
actually very current. That's a very difficult thing to
That
talk
is, yeah, geez. I mean, I think that partially depends on like financial situation too. Like how high up on the ranks is it? Like,
Like your priority.
yeah, exactly. Because I know so for like some people, they can afford to pay a little bit more if it
Hmm.
has like more opportunities, like stuff like that that they're interested in.
Hmm.
So honestly, I'd say it boils down to like where finances are ranked in your priority list for like deciding between colleges.
That's true. I mean, in my case, I guess like um, the biggest thing that like my parents emphasized to me was like what's best for your degree.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, like we're really leaning towards a school that's a little bit more expensive, but at the end of the day, like it's better for me in the long run.
Right.
And that was something that my parents decided like on their own by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but honestly, like I think you have to think about it's so instinctual, it's so stupid. But when I was coming down to the choice, if because my when I got rejected from a school, my parents were like, "Well, do you see yourself there?" And I was like, "No, not really." So I think you have to like just be honest with yourself and say like, "Do you imagine yourself there?" Like if you say to yourself, "Oh, I'm going to UT Austin," like theoretically, right? If this is one
Mm-hmm.
of your choices, do you see yourself there like naturally? Like your first instinct should be what you consider the
That's
most,
yeah,
I
actually
guess.
I know it's a lot of
That's
people like take
corny. It's like
issue
a
with like
corny reason.
intuition for making decisions, but like
Yeah.
even for me, I was pretty much debating between like two schools because those are the two that I wanted to go to that I got accepted into, and like the price range was about the same. So honestly, I kind of went like the gut feeling route. Obviously, I wrote out the like logistics of it just
Yeah, but then at the end
to
of the day,
verify that. But at
you
the end of
really
the day,
have
it's
one choice in your head.
where
And
do
then
I
if you,
feel like I would be like, can I see myself there?
Mhm.
And so I went with the one that was like, yeah, I could. But I don't know. Yeah, talk that out with your parents, anonymous asker, because
That's true. I mean, like,
are you willing
it's
to
just a
pay a
gut
little bit
feeling.
more for more opportunities? Are you not? Like, could you live without them? Weigh those questions out.
And also, like, I guess visiting really helps, I guess, because, like,
Mm-hmm.
actually, well, I don't know, because when I went to Rice, actually, I was like, wow, this is really cool. But when I got to the bottom of it and I got rejected, I was like, I didn't even feel bad about it. It was
Yeah.
like just an instinctual feeling because subconsciously I had a school that I wanted. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think you sort of get caught up in like the prestige of a certain place that you don't
Right.
really recognize what you want, I
Yeah.
guess. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think I applied to another school um, that I thought the program was really good and I thought it was really interesting. And it's like a very, very good school. But like when I got that rejection letter back, I was like, oh, great. Like,
Yeah, it's
because
like,
I
oh, that
knew,
happened.
like, you have to
Right.
sort of look past, like, I guess, other people's perceptions too, because I
Hmm.
think subconsciously
That's a
that was
big
like,
thing. That's the whole comparing yourself to others thing
right,
again.
like
Yeah.
saying, like, oh, this person got into Stanford, like, oh, I wish, right?
I
But
should
did I
have
really
gotten
go there?
in. It's like
No.
I should.
Like,
Like, no. Do you want to? Is that like
so, like, get to your raw thoughts, like, the
right?
raw essence of, like,
The
of
raw
that,
essence. Honestly, just gut
essence of
feeling.
your
What does
thoughts.
your gut say? Does it say yes or no? Yeah.
And I guess another question is from one of my friends. We don't see each other very often. And she says, "How do I deal with missing you?" Oh, so nice.
Oh, how many
Um,
like how how are you so cute questions did you get?
I feel like this isn't gonna work. But I guess we can sort of modify this for our purposes.
Yes, we
Like,
could.
um, I started thinking, I got in contact with a friend from middle school recently.
Oh, yeah, it's
And
great.
so I guess sort of a thought that's been on my mind is like how to maintain
Your
friendships and whatnot
friendships
while we're
did,
in
yeah.
college. Because even when you're in state, like if you're going to a public school like UT,
When you're in
A&M, UTD,
Texas,
there are tons of people.
the
So
state's huge.
like I guess sort of what does it mean to like I don't know like how do you maintain that? Because I have friends that I see like a few times a year,
Right.
but every time we meet up, it's like we've been
You
together
pick
for
up
a long
right where
time.
you left off. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess like how maybe for people out there who might be listening, like how can you connect with people despite being far away?
Hmm. What's my answer to that? I don't know. I'm
Yes.
very bad at staying in touch with people. But I think honestly, half of it's like this mental block. Personally, at least for me, I don't know if other people like feel the same way. For me, it's this like mental block. It's like, oh, they've probably moved on too. So why bother saying anything if we haven't spoken for years or months or whatever time period it is? Um, why should I initiate it? Otherwise, they would have done the same. But I'm like, every time I have initiated, or like 9 times out of 10, they were also like, oh yeah, we should meet up. This is great. How are you doing? Right. So I think it's just overcoming that. Because like we have technology, we have texting, we have like DMs, we have social media.
Yeah.
Slide into their DMs. Hey man, it's been a while.
What's up?
No, but yeah, I mean there's like so many different ways to reach out to people nowadays. There's really no excuse for just like not reaching out other than our minds.
As someone who overthinks, I feel like the bulk of it is just like sending the text. Like at the end of the
Exactly.
day, it's not so much of a big deal.
It isn't. It really isn't. I just want to talk to a person.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And even like, I think even small interactions are good because I feel like sometimes I think I have an obligation to talk to people
To
all the
really
time.
stretch it out. Yeah.
Exactly. And then when we
Hmm.
meet up, it's like, it's not that bad. Like, I don't feel like having constant communication means that your friendship is necessarily any stronger, but not any weaker either.
Right.
Um, you just have a connection with people, like, no matter where you go and no matter what. I mean, if you're really that close, but um, yeah. So I feel
Hmm.
like, I mean, you'll naturally move on. Like in middle school, I thought it was the end of the world, but we all move on. We all keep in contact a few times a year,
Right.
and that's still pretty valuable to me to know that they're around.
Hmm. I think that's good. I think if we want to extend this a little bit, I think quarantine and this whole corona thing has
No.
also brought up that question for a lot of people where it's like now that we're all like physically separated, how do we still, stay in touch? Especially because like we're seniors, right? We're literally never seeing our friends together. That's a really dark way to put it, but
That's true. That's true.
there's a good chance we're not going to say goodbye to any of our high school friends and then we're just all going to like spread out, right? So I think a lot of us are like, well, how do I one say bye? How like FaceTime is there, texting is there, but how do we like,
That's
actually
true.
converse? Because our interactions were cut really abruptly. We were all like, okay, see you after spring break, and then that never happened.
Bye. No.
Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
But I think yeah, like
Because
because
I started
we brought
questioning,
up
I
small talk,
guess
but
that's
in
true.
terms of like deeper connection,
Hmm. 'Cause there are some people I only see at school.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I started questioning, like, if I didn't see them at school, what are we
What's
going to do?
our friendship?
Uh, because
Right.
some people, like, I don't know, at least when we're in school, you tend to talk about things related to school. And so the moment I'm like out with other people that aren't at my school, I'm like at a roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess vice versa. Like if I meet people outside of school, we always end up talking about school.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, even that is sort of like a major thing that I've been thinking about. Like
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been contacting people much. People haven't been contacting me much. And I'm like questioning, is it because we're not close? Is it because I'm not being proactive?
Right.
And it's just this existential hole of like, what is friendship?
What is friendship?
I just lie in my bed like, what am I doing with my life?
Right. It's a confusing time, everybody.
It is.
It is though,
And it's
for
just
real.
so hard to stay motivated like
It is.
throughout it all because there's nothing to be motivated for other than getting out. But like
Mhm.
getting out,
Where?
and who knows
My
if like
backyard.
like just stand in the sun with a mask on,
Photosynthesize.
soaking in the air.
Wait, let me pull up a photo from the other day. I went biking, but this was my
Wow,
getup
exercise
because
queen.
um
I can Genoa mode
there
on.
if
That's
we
the
publish
ultimate.
this
That's your like ultimate
podcast,
form.
I know for
Your
real.
final
If
form.
we actually publish this and no one can see it, it's basically a bike helmet, sunglasses, and then a face like a cloth mask. So you can see the skin between my eyebrows, and that is it.
You might as well just carry like a spray bottle, and every time you pass by a person, you just kind of squirt them with a gun. Like that's the move.
Hello.
Sanitizing my neighborhood. You're a hero, Sonica.
For real.
Our last question is sort of about this person is asking, how do I complete this assignment without putting any effort by the end of the week? So I guess
That's an
quarantine
excellent
is really
question. I'm wondering the same.
decreased our motivation. But I don't know. In terms of like that motivation, I guess the only thing putting me forward is like transferring my credits for college.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's about, I think, I guess when you have to stay motivated, like the one thing is thinking about the result. Because if you
Well,
think
there is
about like
no result
the
either.
task at the moment, it's like, it just seems so daunting. But if you have like a result that you're looking towards, I feel like that helps a lot.
See, I'm in their place too, though. Like, what's the result?
I mean, yeah, me too. Like, I mean,
There's no like motive.
there's no consequence.
There isn't. So honestly, my brain is just like, you gotta, and I'm like, why? You just gotta, and then I
God,
just gotta.
that's the move.
Just tell
But-
your brain you gotta. There's nothing that fuels people better than fear.
You just have to.
If you don't, you die. There you go. Do your work.
But I don't like remember the last time, at least in high school, that I've been like truly motivated for something.
Oh my God, for real. I think freshman year was the last time that's happened.
Freshman year was like a good run,
It
and
was
then
a
after that,
good-
you
Just-
kind of start realizing that you don't got it. You take pre-AP Chem one time, and then you're like,
It's just
oh,
like over.
that was the move.
Yeah.
But
Oh God.
I think we were also talking about this, about how like it's simply just passion that gets you forward for things, because I think college at least is not really going to be easier than high school, but it'll be better in the sense that the stakes are higher. Like I was talking to my mom earlier, like I'm probably going to study hard if I know that I have to do this for law school, if I have to do this for
Right.
like getting a good GPA, because I think like at
You
that
have
point
an end goal in mind.
you do, because high school
Yeah.
your goal is just to go to college.
Your goal is to get your diploma. Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's
so now
not
that we've
much.
basically done that, you're sort of in this limbo about what you want at the end
Yeah.
of it all. So, like,
Senioritis, kids.
senioritis.
Senioritis.
From the beginning, I had it like
I've
first-
had it since like sophomore year. Are
I
we
was
kidding?
dreaming since the first day of school.
For
but-
real, geez.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's also hard to dream, I guess.
Oh,
Like,
that's deep. Let's do this.
like I don't know, because I guess in middle school I had such high expectations for myself. I was getting good grades, like
hmm Oh my God, I
Middle
laugh
school.
at my 8th grade self. I was like, if I maintain these grades, I can get into Yale.
I said Stanford. I was like, the only reason I picked Stanford is because it was in California.
I
was
feel
shallow
that
as
though.
heck. I went to Chicago one time, then I was like, huh, U Chicago.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, the GPA for U Chicago. I was like rubbing my little hands together. I wanted to pursue an English major.
Oh
My God,
yeah.
that was the life. But I don't
Mhm.
know if that like set me up to be as ambitious
Yeah, that brings
right
up the
now,
whole like
or
depressed
if like
gifted
it
kid
made
trope.
me, yeah, I don't know. Because there are a bunch of memes like I'm sure you've seen them like about, oh, I was gifted in like fifth grade, but now
And
I'm
now I
depressed.
have no ambition.
But
Yes.
it's like facts, and I wonder like how people, at least that I know and that we know from middle school, have like kept that up. Because I know
Yeah,
some
no, it
like very
surprises me
respectable
though.
people that have like kept going.
That
Like
keep going, and
you've
I'm like,
like
where
people,
am I?
yeah,
Yeah. But that brings up comparing yourself to others again. Like,
it does. Like we're just
I
going in circles.
academically, my academic accolades are not nearly as nice as they were in middle school, but I am happier with myself now than I was then. So it's like
Right.
kind of a trade-off, you know?
Because
It
I
didn't
guess
have to be, but I'm not mad at the way things went.
because
Yeah.
when you fail, like that's a part of life. Like it's really corny to
Mhm.
say this now, but if I were to like fully consider myself like a failure in the sense that I'm a person who has failed, I feel like that mindset really helped me sort of grow out of it, I guess.
What do you like?
Um, I don't know, because like when I guess as an example, like I went to UT for a tournament in December,
Hmm.
and it was a lot more difficult than I expected it to be.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't pass through a lot of rounds and stuff, but at the end of it, I was like sitting there eating like I was eating I was eating something really good and I was like, man, was it worth it? Like I learned so much and I used
Exactly.
what I
Yeah.
learned to do that. And it, even like I guess in debate as a second example, like there were freshmen who were asking me like, what was your rank freshman year? What was your GPA freshman year?
Oh, those
Like,
people make me
dude,
so
you're
mad. Why do
going
you
to
care?
fail.
Yeah.
Like at some point you're going to fail. Maybe not like,
Yeah.
you know, below 70 fail, but you're going to
You're going to do
do
something
things
that
that
qualifies as a failure to you.
exactly. Like there
Yeah.
were people freshman year who had like, you know, like their rank was whatever, but you know, somehow through their failure or
They work
maybe
their way back up.
exactly.
Hmm.
And that's like
Yeah.
that's where like dreams come into. Like even if you don't end up pursuing them, like there's always a path at the end of it. Like there's something you
There's
can get
something
out
to
of it.
learn from. Like you're just go through the motions, do your best, and like see what happens.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because it takes a while. Like I don't know where I was watching this, but there was like a student blog from the university that I want to go to, and she was saying like she graduated with a business degree, like she has a YouTube channel, but she was saying like, you know, even when you're 22, if you're out of college, you're still not going to know
What
yourself.
you want. Yeah.
You're never going to know what you want until I guess you retire. I don't know.
Hmm.
And it's like really hard for people to accept that sort of
Yeah. And I
even
feel
this.
like, I don't know, the way society's set up, they kind of want, like, at least at this age, the way I see it, is everyone wants you to have, like, a like, whole plan laid out, right? Where it's like, I'm going to start here, then do this, then go from there to here, and go to do
Mhm.
this. I'm not much of, like, the scheming type of person. I don't, like, sit down and think to myself, okay, this is exactly how things are going to pan out. Because I know that's not how it works. That's not going to happen, right? So I don't know, in terms of like dreams and goals and stuff like that, I have a generalized goal. I kind of have an idea of where I want to go. But like I don't know, I can't do that where I'm like it has to go this way or else I die. I'm like,
That's
are
it.
you
And
getting what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, like I don't know. I just
yeah. Because for me, like, I guess that's just like to go to law school, but that's about as far as I've gotten.
mhm.
Um, and I was even like, I was getting in this argument with my mom at some point, like about going out of state for college. And I
Mhm.
was saying, like, I'm literally, you know, I'm 18 years old. This college is like all I have left. Like, I don't have anything past this. Like, this is the one thing that I have.
Mhm.
And I think even just having that one thing, and when I surmounted that, when I was able to convince my parents, um, then I'm looking to the next thing. Like, you never really, you never have like a complete rung of things because things are going to happen that
Exactly.
you
Things
can't
are going to
expect.
happen and your opinions, your goals, your life, circumstance, they all
Mhm.
change. So, one step at a time.
My 14-year-old self said, if you take pre AP Chem and then Chem AP, you're gonna go to OChem. Did I do that?
Oh my god,
No,
for
of course
real.
not. And that's like
Dang it.
just a prime example. Like it's a
Mhm.
very simple, yeah, it's just like a
My
prime
cousin was
example.
so ambitious. She was like, man, yeah. Because, yeah, and that's another thing. Like, when you're actually like there, when you plan for things, once you get there, you see things differently than you did before, right? So you're gonna change stuff around. I mean, that being said, there's nothing wrong with like planning, but you
Mhm.
shouldn't be hurt or like fear the fact that something's gonna go wrong because something's gonna go wrong. Something's gonna change. Like, it's not, nothing's set in stone.
And it's not to say like that, I guess failure is an option, but like I mean, you shouldn't go into something saying like, oh yeah, I could fail. But if you do fail, I don't think
Don't be
it should
hurt
be
by it.
as surprising as
Yeah.
like before.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think like what we were saying before, like with the college inquiry, you have
Mm-hmm.
to sort of think about what you want. Like obviously subconsciously, like there are people's thoughts, like oh this university is prestigious. Oh like my brother went here, it was like super
Mm-hmm.
good. He's a doctor now or whatever. Like those things you're always going to hear from people, but
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to get down to like
What do you want?
what you can do
Yeah.
and what you can realistically do.
Right.
And it's not like to say lower your standards or whatever,
But you know
but
yourself better than anyone else.
exactly. You have
So,
to make yourself happy. That's the
yeah.
important part. So,
That's another thing. I have a really bad habit of like really weighing the consequences of all of my decisions.
that's true.
Like,
Like different pathways, like for
yeah.
when.
Like,
Yeah,
I was
it's so
joking
funny.
the other day that I'm literally Chidi from The Good Place, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
There's
get
no lie in that statement. Oh my God, I'm
it.
so indecisive about things because I'll look at like different pathways and I'm like, I have to confine myself into this box once I choose that, and that terrifies me. But like you don't, and I know it's just my brain like,
Because no matter how much like you say it to yourself, right? It's like you can't always follow through with your own advice.
mm-hmm.
It's just
Yeah.
me. Like I
I
give
no,
myself
for
a pep
sure.
talk and then it's
I
never
literally had to write down on my wall, like right over here, it says there are no boxes.
just
And it's
out
just
of
like a reminder
context.
to myself,
There are no.
it's okay, you can choose something and then like back out or do something else. It's not the be all end all.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm being so hypocritical. I'm like, nothing's set in stone. And now I'm like, I keep thinking everything's set in stone.
Oh no. And I guess that's where like dreams come in because it's sort of just like you're outside the box. But I think we just refuse to admit it because like there are so many things that could prevent you from your dream, I guess. Like if you I guess one of the most like common things that people have issues with is like what your parents expect you to do, I suppose, like college
Right.
wise and what you expect yourself to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to like make a compromise
Oh, yeah.
and say like, oh, I want to be an art student, for example, but realistically it's hard to get a job and you have to like weigh economic factors and like that's also a box that is just like a cultural thing that you can't always escape.
That you can't make money with that
Yeah.
field or whatever. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. The way I see that kind of stuff is that at the end of the day, like no matter what you do, honest, good work will pay off somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at artists or doctors or like anyone from any field, even like, I don't know, shoot, what's like magicians, I guess. Like you look at America's Got Talent, right? And it's like
Yeah.
there's so many things that people are like, this isn't a job. But like if someone really puts their soul into it, then like anything's a job. Do whatever you want, you know, as long as you
That's
know you're gonna
true.
put the work into it, then
And it takes a lot. Like you
eventually results will come.
always have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Like you can't expect to be this sort of person if you don't like put in the work, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you choose, you should be willing to
Yeah, that's true.
put work
It's
into
hard
it. It is hard. It's tough. Lots.
because I'm like the sort of person who weighs the facts. So I
Mm-hmm.
was even telling like my parents like there's a chance I'm not going to go to law school or whatever
Mm-hmm.
because of who I don't know what's going to happen in 4 years.
Right.
Like
So then
or
what then?
or even like oh, can we realistically pay for this? Can we realistically do this? I'm not idealist like I used to be, but
I'm
I
still
don't know
very
what it is.
idealistic.
But like I can't like if I'm in an argument, I need facts, I guess.
Mhm.
And so I guess that would be sort of my box, I guess, like that prevents me from doing things because I always assume the worst before
Mm-hmm.
I do it, if that
Do you know
makes
your
sense.
Myers-Briggs type?
Oh God,
Are you
I
an
feel like
INFJ by chance?
yeah, I think so.
I knew it.
I think so. I've taken the test like 2 times, and I'm pretty sure
I knew
that's
it.
what. Did you just memorize all the types?
No, I know a lot of INFJs.
You
You
just like
sound
point at
just like
people like
them.
INFJ, INFT,
Yes.
like that
You
Oprah
sound
meme,
just
like I
like
know what
them.
you are. That would be kind of a power move.
It is. I
Just to
actually
memorize
I
all.
can generally with most people I can narrow it down to two. And they're like,
I know like
how'd
different
you
like
know
there's
that? I'm
different
like, I know you
ranges
better
of
than you think.
yeah.
Yeah, because as you said, it's different arrangements of letters. I'm just like, do they seem introverted?
Maybe.
I.
Facts.
How do they cope with problems?
We don't. We just wing it every time.
There we go. Yeah, no, I knew it. The second you said that, I was like, shoot, you sound just like so many different people I
Oh
know.
no. I've been caught.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not like that. I'm very idealistic.
No, I mean that's okay. And I think like it's good to sort of talk
It's
about
good to
those sort
have
of things
a
because
balance.
that's true.
Yeah, like you shouldn't be
Like
overly idealistic, but
uh,
also being like super pragmatic about everything is kind of,
yeah.
yeah, both don't get things done. So,
But like sort of what you were saying at the beginning, like is that a result of like, you know, what happens to you or is that because of the people around you or is it because of yourself, the way you were raised? Like a lot of things like I don't know, end up sort of accumulating into this one like reason why because I don't know, like whenever something goes wrong, like sometimes I blame the other person and then I start questioning myself.
mm-hmm.
Like what did I do
In that
differently or
situation.
what could I have done differently?
Are you talking in terms of like failures again, or just like interactions, or?
Um, I don't know. I guess like I used to be sort of to go back to like what I was talking about in the beginning, like with swim and stuff like that. Like I was pretty sometimes like the mindset I have about meeting people is very narrow. Like if I know that you're a sort of person that I wouldn't interact with, I usually
Mhm.
tend to like
Back
distance
off?
myself, which is
Mm-hmm.
like a really bad habit because I've made friends like talking to people, talking with people that I didn't think I would like, right? And then I
Right.
ended up
But then you ended up really
being
liking
that
them.
way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, so sort of like I wish maybe if I had been more like this or like that, but I'm too like introverted to change the way because I feel like if you're not going to sort of how do I say this? Like if it's not if someone doesn't like interact with me in a reciprocative way, like I won't do the same, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never
You need
really make
someone to
the first
initiate.
move with meeting people. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if that's like
I adopted you as my friend.
oh when
We
was
met
that?
in
Oh
that
no, yeah, yeah, that
freshman,
was
not the
that
freshman orientation, the sixth grade Raider camp.
a girl ran into a pole.
When,
That's
what?
all I remember from that.
Oh, really? We did the
There was
scavenger hunt. I remember I met you
there
and
was that.
Kirby.
And you
Um,
know there's like okay, you know how like there are two doors and they're divided by a bar.
yeah, someone did
There's
someone
the
run
right
into
door and
the
the left.
bar.
She ran into the middle. And that's all I remember. I
Wait,
don't remember
me or
anything
someone else?
else. It wasn't you, it was someone
No,
else.
okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I don't remember running into a pole. Okay.
No, it wasn't you, it was someone else. I just remember that one station. Other than that, I remember nothing.
Really? Yeah, I don't remember much. I remember we got trapped in this. This is such like we. What's the original question? How did we
I
get
guess
here?
so.
Anyways, it's a funny
How did
story.
we meet or something? I don't know.
I remember the one thing I remember from that orientation was the three of us, we were like going around the school and then we ended up in like this dark hallway that was like not lit up and we
Was
were
that like
terrified.
the band hallway? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
that was
the
the
dance hall
no, it wasn't the band hallway. It was
science
the
one?
one next to the science wing.
Oh, that really random back one that no one ever goes.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
It was so funny. We were like, where are we? And now in hindsight, it's like, that is the smallest school ever. There is no reason for us to get lost.
you're right.
For
It's like such a simple time, I guess.
real.
Like you didn't care about anything.
Oh, I cared too much about everything, but
Well, it's stuff like now that I wish I cared about now.
right, exactly, yeah.
Like, actually, never mind. I thought
Yeah,
of
no, I don't
I
really.
thought of no. I feel like you sort of know what I'm thinking about,
I
but
know what you mean. Yeah, it's like our problems back then were so like simple.
like having a it wasn't even
Really
like
look at me?
academic
Oh
problem.
my god.
It was fine, but like
Yeah, I was just friend drama and like stupid stuff.
like I had a crush on in middle school. Like really?
I haven't felt feelings in years. What's that like?
Like really? It's so like when I've told you about another person, right?
Mhm.
Like it's not worth it.
It
It's
isn't.
just like it's so
Man, I wish
gross.
that's the stuff I obsessed over now.
Actually, I don't know about that for me,
Kind of. I wish
but I don't know.
things of
I
that
think
scale were things I obsessed about
mhm.
now.
uh but I
It
guess experiencing that sort of thing early is like kind of good
would. Yeah.
because
Because
you mature from it
faster?
and
Or
I
is
mean
that just like a middle school thing? Are we trying to be edgy or like does
I
everyone
don't know
do this?
about faster, but like I guess when I stopped liking someone around like the beginning of the school year, I was like very rational about it. Like there's no point, like I don't know this person very well.
Right. I wouldn't want
There's
anything
no
to do with
use
it
in like
anyway.
pursuing it because
Right.
realistically, I can't be like a middle schooler anymore. Like you
Hmm.
can't hope for anything at like the dead end that is senior year. Um, like I mean it is, right? Because like the odds of
I mean, I get what
like
you mean. Yeah.
ever
Like college is like a fresh start. So,
it is, yeah. And you sort of have to, I guess, purge all the past things that you think about.
oh, I will. You better believe once I go to
Like
college,
all the
everyone's just
regrets, like
erased.
my God. The senior year has been like a good time to reflect, I guess,
It has, definitely.
for sure.
Hmm.
Because along with regretting the things that I did, it's also just being appreciative of the things I used to worry about,
Hmm.
like pre-cal or
We should
whatever.
censor that if we end up
Oh,
publishing.
yeah, we can probably censor that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like World Geo pre-cal,
Right.
like all of those things you thought were the end of the world are not. Like
Why? It's nowhere near the end of the world.
it's
And
so
even now, I feel like we're gonna look back on like stuff we're obsessing over now. We're just gonna be like,
like yeah, this is going to be
this,
another
you
like,
didn't have to pay
cringe moment
taxes.
like at the end of college. Oh, taxes. Oh,
Ew.
so gross. But yeah, that's sort of the move.
Yeah. How about you said that was the last one, right?
Uh, the question about
The last
assignments, yes,
usable.
that was the modified usable question.
Okay, what are some of the unusable ones? Let's just like.
Oh no, I went through all of them. The unusable ones I sort of just modified for like I only have a few here, if you can
Okay,
see.
uh-huh.
There's not a
Okay,
lot.
I had an idea then. How about we ask each other a question?
Oh, okay.
I have no clue what mine's gonna be, but
Uh,
let's see. Let's Google deep existential questions to ask a friend.
existential questions. That sounds like a card game. Existential questions with friends.
That's a
Like
terrible card game. That's like
instead
exactly
of
something
words
we
with
play at
friends.
2 a.m. at a sleepover.
But except like there wouldn't be any noise. Like you'd just be sitting in silence. Like contemplating.
Everyone's just thinking.
Yeah, like you just and then people leave because they're so disillusioned or like whatever.
Hey, my mom wants me to come home now. But Stacy, it's 3 a.m. I don't care.
I don't care, I'm leaving.
Nothing matters anyways.
Okay, is this like this should be like a segment where it's like the last 10 minutes is just like rapid fire speed round questions.
Oh yes, let's do it. Okay.
Like at the end?
But
Yeah,
like
okay.
deep questions, but we don't give ourselves the opportunity to think enough.
Okay, I'm gonna look some up too while I'm here. Okay. These are not that deep. Okay, wait, let me see.
Let's see.
This site is called Mantelligence.
Oh, I'm on
Very
the same
nice.
one.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna scroll and then stop. And then like that's the question I'm gonna ask.
Okay, I'll just start at 1. How about that? I'll go down the line. You can
Sure.
start at 29.
Sure, okay. I'll try to keep my answers short for the sake of making this a speed round.
Yeah, that's the trick. Both of us are overthinkers, so we gotta just like
Just gotta go like that.
rapid fire. I do have an answer for this one, but it's your question.
Okay.
Which apocalyptic dystopia do you think is most likely?
Thomas Malthus? Like
environment, right?
eventually our resources will be depleted to
I
the
agree.
point of no return.
We're already like well on
And,
track.
like,
That's what I thought too.
Because I guess like thinking about how much pollution has gone down because of coronavirus, it's
It
like
puts into perspective how much there was originally.
imagine what happens when we come back out.
Yeah, geez.
Insane.
Okay, next question. Don't think too hard.
Yeah, I won't. I'll try. So, okay. This is so not working. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Who has influenced you the most?
Oh my god.
Don't think about it. Who's the
There's like not one person.
It could be like in this span of a week, like someone that's influenced, or like that you, I guess not really admire, but that you have, I don't know, that you relate to.
I relate to. My instinct is RM of BTS.
The
The
answer.
first podcast in my stan life has already been exposed. The audacity of this question. 2, do people have a right to be happy or should they have to earn it?
Oh no. This is so bad. I don't know. I think like I don't know if it's like necessarily a right because I feel like you find happiness in everything. Everyone finds happiness in different things.
So I think it should be a right. I mean, no one should be like.
I mean, yeah, but like a right sounds like it's like given out by the government or whatever.
But it doesn't have to be. It's just like.
I guess. But yeah, I would say because like earning it is.
If you think
really...
the opposite, it's like, should they? That gives the option to like enforce sadness on them. Like what?
Dystopian society.
It's just such a weird. It's a weird question. There's a gnat in my vicinity. Okay.
Okay, I'm scrolling. Okay.
This third question's hard, but okay, go ahead.
What did you want to be when you were younger?
A doctor. Oh boy, how things changed.
Yeah.
Actually, no, if we're talking like my earliest career choice, I really wanted to be a firefighter when I was 3.
That's actually cool. Like that's cool like stuff. Standard, I guess, for kids.
I went through like 3 things. It was firefighter, then like architect, then doctor, and now I'm doing none of those 3. So
nice. Okay, next question.
Okay, your question. Oh, this one's terrible. God. What would you genetically change about humans to make them a better species?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if there's like something regulating empathy. Like, if there's like a, I don't know. This just proves how much like I didn't know AP Bio.
It doesn't have to be like physical either. It should be like.
I guess.
I mean, well, could you genetically modify a human to be more empathetic?
I don't know. So if you think of, there's like something that controls your emotions, right? I suppose.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
mix the chemicals up a little bit.
It's like not something that has to do with like physical stuff, because I know that certain things, if you're raised in a certain way, you act a certain way like subconsciously. So there's no way you can really change that about a person.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to change looks because that opens up a whole.
Oh yeah, I mean.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just like deactivate our ability to think. We can just coexist with like the bugs and the tigers and the deer. I'm down for that.
Homeostasis. No, it's not homeostasis. Symbiosis. Symbiosis. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to ask a very good one because all the ones that you've asked are very deep. Is this from that same website?
Yeah. I think the first ones are like deep, and then the further you go down.
So I'm like on there, but I can't like find any. It's not loading on my phone. Oh, okay, never mind. I found it. Oh, this is like the pauses I have to edit out because I just.
Okay, I get it. I totally get it. We're gonna be editing this, and I'm just gonna be like cringing at myself the whole time.
Like, why did I say these
Why
things?
did she
It's the first time. You know what? We should just put it out there because
go for it?
we're probably gonna get like
Before
5
we think
listeners.
too hard
Yeah,
about it, we're gonna get 5 views. It's gonna be
exactly.
great.
What do you hope to achieve by the time you're an adult? Like maybe
No, I hate this.
40, 50 years old. I don't know.
I want to put out original music. That's more within like the
Oh,
next 5 years though.
our
So
yarn girl concert.
Yarn Girl concert, yeah,
I
boy.
am your manager, as we've
Thank you.
established from the beginning.
Yes.
This is something that is an indisputable fact.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay,
Okay.
that was a pretty quick answer. I'm glad that went smoothly. Number 4.
Yeah.
Here, let me give a less like super deep question. Oh, okay. Well, these are kind of like, ooh, okay. What do you think your purpose is?
My purpose?
Your purpose.
Honestly, like the only, I guess, like for me, it would just be to help people.
That's good. I like to bring up existentialism and be like, there is no inherent purpose to life. Therefore, but yeah, I mean, if you're here, might as well.
For me, I guess that would just be to help people. Like that's why I wanted to get into the career that I wanted to do. It's really like a simple reason, but again, like we were talking about, I think having simple goals is still like a nice thing to keep yourself on track.
I agree. And that's a good thing. Yeah.
Well, that was an abrupt ending. After about an hour of recording, our laptops finally got tired of recording our voices, but we'll have that fixed by next week. Till then, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed our impromptu speed round question session at the end, which we've now come to dub as Deep Questions with Friends. We'd also like to credit mantelligence.com for providing us with some stellar, thought-provoking inquiries. In addition, a huge thank you to our friends who submitted some great icebreakers for our first episode. We hope you'll continue to join us every Tuesday for more advice and overall shenanigans. Until next time, this is the Armbridge Podcast.